First contact. The night sky erupted in a brilliant flash of light, momentarily turning darkness into day. Zara, junior xenobiologist aboard the Nexus research vessel, gripped her console as alarms blared throughout the ship. Something had gone terribly wrong during their routine scan of the primitive planet below. Engine failure imminent. Brace for impact. The ship's A warned, its usually calm voice tinged with urgency. Zara's 4 hearts raced as the sleek scout ship plummeted through Earth's atmosphere, leaving a trail of fire in its wake. Her species, the Araxians, prided themselves on their advanced technology and meticulous planning. How could this happen? As the ground rushed up to meet them, Zara's last thought, before losing consciousness, was a mix of fear and disdain for the backwards world they were about to crash into. When Zara awoke, the acrid smell of smoke filled her lungs. She blinked her large, almond-shaped eyes, trying to focus in the dim emergency lighting of the ship's interior. The crash had been violent, but the vessel's advanced materials had absorbed much of the impact. Still, as Zara took stock of her situation, she realized she was the only survivor among the small research team. With a heavy heart, she activated her universal translator and emergency beacon. Help would come eventually, but until then, she was stranded on this primitive world. Zara had studied Earth extensively in preparation for this mission, but actually being here filled her with apprehension. Humans were notoriously unpredictable and often violent. Her people viewed them as a species with potential, but ultimately too fragmented and short-sighted to ever achieve true greatness. Gathering what supplies she could from the wreckage, Zara cautiously emerged from the ship. The cool night air hit her skin, and she shivered, adjusting her environmental suit. She found herself in a dense forest, towering trees stretching up towards the starry sky. In the distance, she could see the faint glow of what must be a human settlement. Zara hesitated. Should she seek help from the locals or try to evade detection until rescue arrived? Her training told her to avoid contact at all costs. Humans weren't ready for open interaction with alien life. But as she heard the sound of approaching vehicles, she realized the choice might be taken out of her hands. Bright lights cut through the trees, and Zara's heart raced. She scrambled to hide, her cerulean skin blending into the shadows. As she watched, several large military trucks rolled to a stop near the crash site. Soldiers poured out, their weapons at the ready. Secure the perimeter. No one gets in or out without authorization, a gruff voice commanded. Zara's translator picked up the words easily, confirming her fears. The humans had detected their ship's entry and crash. Now they were here to claim the advanced technology for themselves. She'd heard stories of how greedy and militaristic humans could be, always seeking to gain an advantage over each other. As the soldiers began to investigate the wreckage, Zara knew she had to move. She couldn't let herself be captured, couldn't let her technology fall into the wrong hands. With silent steps, she retreated deeper into the forest, her heart pounding with each snap of a twig beneath her feet. Hours passed as Zara put distance between herself and the crash site. The forest eventually gave way to open fields, and as the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, she found herself on the outskirts of a small town. Exhausted and unsure of her next move, Zara took shelter in an abandoned barn. As she huddled in the dusty structure, Zara couldn't help but feel a sense of despair. Here she was, an advanced being from a civilization that had mastered interstellar travel, hiding like a frightened animal. She was surrounded by a species that she had always seen as primitive and dangerous. How could she possibly survive long enough for rescue to arrive? Meanwhile, in a small house on the edge of town, Alex Chen jolted awake to the sound of his phone buzzing incessantly. The former Air Force pilot groaned, fumbling for the device in the pre-dawn darkness. "Hello," he mumbled, still half asleep. "Alex, it's Sarah. You need to turn on the news now." His sister's voice was filled with excitement. Confused but curious, Alex flipped on the TV. His eyes widened as he saw the breaking news headlines. Unidentified aircraft crashes near Pine Ridge, military cordons off area. As a pilot with experience in experimental aircraft, Alex's interest was immediately piqued. But there was something about this that didn't add up. The grainy footage showed a crash site unlike anything he'd ever seen before. "They're saying it might be a UFO. Alex," Sarah's voice came through the phone. "Can you believe it?" Alex's mind raced. If this was what he thought it was, the implications were staggering. "I've got to go, Sarah. Thanks for the heads up." He hung up, already formulating a plan. If there really was an alien craft out there, Alex knew the government would be doing everything in their power to keep it under wraps. But his curiosity and sense of adventure wouldn't let him sit this one out. He had to see for himself. Quickly dressing and grabbing his old flight bag, Alex headed out to his truck. As he drove towards the reported crash site, his mind wandered to all the possibilities. What if there were survivors? What would first contact with an alien species be like? Little did Alex know, he was about to find out, and it would challenge everything he thought he knew about the universe and humanity's place in it. As the sun rose higher in the sky, Zora's sensitive hearing picked up the sound of an approaching vehicle. She tensed, ready to flee if necessary. But as a battered pickup truck pulled up outside the barn, she realized this wasn't a military vehicle. A single human emerged, a male, from what she could tell. Zora watched through a crack in the wooden walls as the human looked around cautiously before approaching the barn. She held her breath, conflicting emotions warring within her. Part of her wanted to reveal herself, to seek help. But her training and prejudices held her back. Humans were unpredictable, often hostile. How could she trust this one? The barn door creaked open, and Zara pressed herself further into the shadows. The human stepped inside, his eyes adjusting to the dim light, and then he saw her. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Zara's large, iridescent eyes met the human's brown ones. She saw shock, wonder, and, surprisingly, concern in his gaze. "Holy shit," Alex breathed, taking in the alien before him. She was humanoid, but clearly not of this world. Her blue skin shimmered slightly, and her features were delicate yet alien. She looked scared, and that tugged at Alex's heart despite his own shock. Slowly, Alex raised his hands in a non-threatening gesture. "It's okay," he said softly. "I'm not here to hurt you. Do you understand me?" To his surprise, the alien nodded. "I understand," she replied, her voice carrying an otherworldly lilt. "My universal translator allows me to comprehend and speak your language." Alex's mind reeled at the implications, but he forced himself to focus on the present. "Are you injured? Do you need help?" Zara hesitated. Everything she'd been taught told her not to trust this human. But there was something in his eyes, a genuine concern that she hadn't expected. I am unharmed," she said cautiously. "But I am stranded, my ship." "I know," Alex nodded. "It crashed. The military has the site locked down tight." Zora's expression fell. "Then I have failed. My mission was one of peaceful observation. We were not meant to make contact, not yet." Alex's curiosity burned, but he could see the alien was distressed. "Look, it's not safe for you here. The authorities will be searching the area soon. I can help you, if you'll let me." Zora studied the human, weighing her options. Everything she knew about humans told her they were selfish, prone to violence, and not to be trusted. But this one seemed different, and right now he was her only hope. "Very well," she said, straightening up. "I will accept your assistance, human." Alex couldn't help but smile. "I'm Alex, Alex Chen, and you are?" "My name is Zara," she replied, still wary but allowing a glimmer of hope to form. "Lead the way, Alex Chen." As they cautiously made their way to Alex's truck, neither of them could have predicted the adventure that lay ahead. Zara, the alien who thought she knew everything about humans, was about to have her preconceptions shattered. And Alex, the ex-pilot searching for purpose, was about to embark on the journey of a lifetime. Their unlikely alliance would not only change their own lives, but potentially the fate of two worlds. The story of Zara and Alex was just beginning, and the universe would never be the same. Unexpected alliance. As Alex's battered pickup truck rumbled down the dusty backroads, Zara found herself in a situation she never could have imagined. The human's vehicle was primitive compared to Araxian technology, yet there was something oddly charming about its rugged simplicity. The cab smelled of leather and coffee, a mix of scents both foreign and intriguing to her alien senses. So, Alex broke the silence, his eyes darting between the road and his extraordinary passenger. "I'm guessing you're not from around here." Zara couldn't help but let out a small musical laugh at the understatement. "No, Alex Chen, my home is quite far from here." "Call me Alex," he replied with a warm smile. "And how far are we talking?" "Next galaxy over." "Further," Zara said simply, her iridescent eyes scanning the passing landscape. Fields of golden wheat stretched to the horizon, punctuated by the occasional farmhouse or silo. It was beautiful in its own way, so different from the sleek, urban worlds she was accustomed to. Alex whistled low. "Wow. And here I thought I was well-traveled because I've been to Japan." As they drove, Zara found herself opening up more than she ever intended. She told Alex about her people, the Araxians, and their mission of peaceful observation. Earth was one of many developing worlds they monitored, watching and waiting for species to reach a level of advancement that warranted official first contact. "So, we're like the galactic equivalent of kids in elementary school?" Alex asked, a hint of amusement in his voice. Zara tilted her head, considering the analogy. "In a way, yes. Though perhaps more like adolescence. You have great potential, but also great capacity for self-destruction." Alex nodded soberly. "Can't argue with that. But hey, we're not all bad." As if to emphasize his point, a breaking news alert came over the radio. A massive wildfire was threatening a small town in the next county over. Local firefighters were overwhelmed, and volunteers were being called in from surrounding areas. Without hesitation, Alex pulled over to the side of the road. "Change of plans," he said, reaching for his phone. "I've got some friends in the volunteer fire department. They could use an extra pair of hands." Zara blinked in surprise. "You're going to help. But what about evading detection? What about me?" Alex paused, looking at her intently. "Zara, I promise to help you, and I will. But right now, there are people in danger. I can't just drive by and do nothing. That's not who I am." As Alex made some quick calls, Zara found herself re-evaluating her assumptions. Here was a human, putting himself in harm's way to help strangers. It went against everything she'd been taught about humanity's selfish nature. "I'm coming with you," Zara declared as Alex hung up the phone. Alex's eyebrows shot up. "Are you sure? It's dangerous, and you'd be risking exposure." Zara nodded firmly. "I have skills that could be useful, and I want to understand. Show me what makes humans fight against the impossible." A slow grin spread across Alex's face. "All right then, let's go save some lives." As they sped towards the raging inferno, Zara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. She was about to witness humanity at its most raw and desperate. What she would learn in the coming hours would challenge everything she thought she knew about this species. The small town of Millbrook was chaos incarnate when they arrived. Flames licked at the sky, devouring homes and livelihoods with insatiable hunger. The air was thick with smoke and ash, and the sound of sirens mixed with the roar of the fire to create a hellish cacophony. Alex quickly found his friends and got to work, his military training kicking in as he coordinated with the local firefighters. Zara, using her environmental suit to protect herself from the smoke, put her advanced knowledge to use. She quickly analyzed wind patterns and fire behavior, providing crucial information to the fire crews. As the night wore on, Zara witnessed acts of bravery and selflessness that left her in awe. Humans rushed into burning buildings to save strangers. Neighbors formed bucket brigades when water pressure ran low. A group of teenagers organized an impromptu animal rescue, saving pets and livestock from the flames. In one heart-stopping moment, Alex disappeared into a collapsing house to save a trapped child. Zara's heart pounded as she waited, certain she had just lost her only ally on this strange world. But then Alex emerged from the smoke, suit covered and coughing, with a small girl clinging to his neck. As dawn broke, the fire was finally contained. Exhausted but triumphant, the volunteers gathered in the town square. Zara stood among them, her alien features hidden by ash and grime, feeling a sense of belonging she had never expected. "I don't understand," she said softly to Alex as they watched the sun rise. "Your people had no chance against that fire. Statistically, the entire town should have been lost. Yet you fought anyway. Why?" Alex smiled tiredly, his face streaked with soot. "Because that's what humans do, Zara. We don't give up, even when the odds are impossible. Especially when the odds are impossible." As they drove away from Millbrook, leaving behind a grateful town and a story of an unusually tall, blue-eyed firefighter that would become local legend, Zara felt something shift within her. She had come to Earth believing humans were frightened, selfish creatures. Now she wasn't so sure. "Alex," she said as they pulled onto the highway, the rising sun painting the sky in brilliant hues, "I believe I may have been mistaken about your species." Alex chuckled. "Well, we're full of surprises. Speaking of which, we should probably figure out our next move. The whole country's going to be looking for you now." Zara nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. "I need to contact my people, warn them about the crash." But my long-range communicator was damaged. "I might know someone who can help," Alex said thoughtfully. "An old Air Force buddy who works in satellite communications now. It's a long shot, but..." At this point, Zara replied with a small smile. "I'm beginning to believe that long shots are a human specialty." As they drove off into the sunrise, an unlikely alliance solidified. Zara, the alien scientist who had come to study humanity, now found herself learning more than she ever expected. And Alex, the ex-pilot searching for purpose, had found an adventure beyond his wildest dreams. Little did they know, their journey was just beginning. The road ahead would be fraught with danger, discovery, and decisions that would shape the future of two worlds. But for now, as the open road stretched before them, anything seemed possible. Journey of discovery. The open road stretched before them like an endless ribbon of possibility, the summer sun beating down on the dusty highway. Alex's truck, now affectionately nicknamed the Cosmic Cruiser by its unlikely passengers, rumbled steadily westward. Inside, an improbable duo, one human, one alien, continued their extraordinary journey across the American heartland. Zara's cerulean skin shimmered as she leaned out the window, her large, iridescent eyes widening at the sight of a massive herd of bison roaming across a sprawling prairie. "Fascinating," she exclaimed, her voice filled with childlike wonder. "Such magnificent creatures, yet so different from the megafauna of my homeworld." Alex couldn't help but grin at her enthusiasm. Over the past few days, he'd watched the alien scientist transform from a wary, somewhat condescending observer into an eager student of Earth's wonders. "Wait till you see the Grand Canyon," he said. "Now that'll really blow your mind." As they drove, Zara peppered Alex with questions about everything from human cuisine to the intricacies of reality TV. In turn, Alex found himself learning about distant worlds and advanced civilizations he could scarcely imagine. It was a cultural exchange unlike any in human history, happening in the cab of a beat-up pickup truck. Their destination was a remote research station in the New Mexico desert, where Alex's old Air Force buddy, Dr. Samantha Torres, now worked on cutting-edge satellite technology. If anyone could help them contact Zara's people without alerting the authorities, it was Sam. But the journey was proving to be just as important as the destination. With each passing mile, Zara found her preconceptions about humanity crumbling. The kindness of strangers at small-town diners, the breathtaking beauty of national parks, the resilience of communities rebuilding after natural disasters, All of it painted a picture of humanity that was far more complex and inspiring than anything in her research had suggested. As night fell, they pulled into a small campground nestled in a pine forest. Alex built a fire while Zara marveled at the simple pleasure of roasting marshmallows, a snack she declared far superior to nutrient capsules. Under a sky blazing with stars, the conversation turned philosophical. "You know," Alex said, poking at the fire with a stick, "a few days ago, you said humans were hopeless and frightened. I'm curious, what do you think now?" Zara was quiet for a long moment, her alien features thoughtful in the flickering firelight. "I think," she said slowly, "that I was arrogant. My people pride ourselves on our logic, our advancement. We thought we understood humanity based on data and observation. But being here, experiencing your world firsthand, it's shown me how limited our perspective was." She gestured to the star-filled sky above them. "Look at that vastness. The challenges your species faces are immense. You're alone in a universe filled with wonders and terrors beyond your comprehension. By all logic, you should be paralyzed with fear. And yet, Alex prompted gently. And yet you face it all with such hope." Zara's voice was filled with wonder. "You dream, you explore, you fight impossible odds. Even knowing how small you are in the cosmic scale, you never stop reaching for the stars. It's beautiful." Alex smiled, deeply moved by her words. "Well, we've got our flaws, that's for sure. But yeah, I like to think hope is one of our better qualities." As the fire died down to embers, Zara made a decision. She reached into her pack and pulled out a small glowing orb, a piece of advanced Araxian technology. "Alex," she said seriously, "I want to show you something. This contains the sum of my people's knowledge about the universe. Technically, I'm breaking about a dozen non-interference protocols by sharing it with you. But I think it's time for humanity to know what's really out there." Alex's eyes widened as the orb projected a holographic map of the galaxy, swirling with points of light representing countless alien civilizations. It was beautiful, terrifying, and awe-inspiring all at once. "Holy shit," he breathed, reaching out to touch the hologram. His hand passed through it, sending ripples through the starfield. This changes everything." Zara nodded solemnly. "It does, and it's why I need to contact my people. Humanity deserves a chance to join the galactic community, but it needs to be on your own terms, not because of an accidental crash landing." As the hologram faded, leaving them in the quiet darkness of the forest, both alien and human felt the weight of the moment. They were no longer just two individuals on a road trip. They were representatives of their species, standing on the brink of a new era for both their worlds. The next morning, they hit the road early, both filled with a renewed sense of purpose. The New Mexico desert stretched out before them, shimmering in the heat. As they neared the research station, however, Zara's acute senses picked up something troubling. "Alex," she said urgently, "we're being followed." Alex checked the rearview mirror, his jaw tightening as he spotted the black SUVs gaining on them. "Looks like your arrival didn't go as unnoticed as we hoped. Hang on." He gunned the engine, sending the truck roaring down the desert highway. The pursuit that followed was like something out of an action movie: hairpin turns, dust clouds, and heart-pounding close calls. As they skidded around a sharp bend, Alex's truck clipping a guardrail, Zara suddenly pointed ahead. "Look." Rising out of the desert like a mirage was an enormous array of satellite dishes, the research station. Their destination was in sight, but so were their pursuers. "We're not going to make it," Alex said grimly, eyeing the closing gap between them and the black SUVs. Zara's eyes narrowed with determination. "Yes, we will." She reached into her pack and pulled out another piece of Araxian tech, a small disc-like device. "I really hope this works on Earth vehicles," she muttered. Before Alex could ask what she meant, Zara leaned out the window and tossed the disc behind them. It attached to the lead SUV's hood with a magnetic snap. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a flash of blue light, the SUV's engine died, causing it to swerve and block the path of the vehicles behind it. Alex whooped with joy as they rolled past the gates of the research station, leaving their pursuers in the dust. That was amazing. What was that thing? Zara grinned, her alien features alight with excitement. Just a little Araxian tech. Looks like it works on Earth machines after all. As they screeched to a halt outside the main building, a woman in a lab coat came running out, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Alex," she called. "What the hell is going on? And who's your friend?" Alex grinned as he helped Zara out of the truck. "Sam, remember how you always said you wanted to make first contact? Well, today's your lucky day." Dr. Samantha Torres looked from Alex to Zara, her scientific mind visibly grappling with the impossible sight before her. Then, slowly, a smile spread across her face. "Well," she said, extending a hand to Zara, "I guess we'd better get to work then. We've got a galaxy to talk to." As they hurried inside, the sound of approaching vehicles growing in the distance, all three felt the electric thrill of history in the making. Humanity's next great adventure was about to begin, and they were standing at the forefront. The door of the research station closed behind them, shutting out the outside world. But for Zara, Alex, and now Sam, a whole universe of possibilities was opening up. Their journey of discovery was far from over. In fact, it was only just beginning. The looming threat. The fluorescent lights of the research station's main lab hummed softly as Dr. Samantha Torres' fingers flew across her keyboard. Zara stood nearby, her alien technology interfacing seamlessly with Earth's systems in a fusion of two worlds' greatest innovations. Alex paced nervously, dividing his attention between the windows and the progress on the main screen. "How much longer, Sam?" Alex asked, tension evident in his voice. Outside, the sound of approaching vehicles grew louder. "Almost there," Sam replied, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Zara's tech is incredible, but routing it through our satellite network without setting off any alarms is tricky." Zara placed a reassuring hand on Sam's shoulder, her touch cool and slightly electric. "You're doing admirably, Dr. Torres. On my world, you'd be considered a prodigy." Sam blushed at the compliment, then pumped her fist in triumph as the screen before her lit up with an alien script. "We're in. Zara, you're connected to your people's emergency channel." But as Zara stepped forward to send her message, her large eyes widened in shock. "No," she whispered, her melodic voice tinged with horror. "This can't be right." Alex moved closer, concern etched on his face. "What is it? What's wrong?" Zara's fingers danced over the holographic interface, bringing up streams of data and communications. Her expression grew more grave with each passing moment. "It's the Vexer," she said finally, her voice barely above a whisper. "A militant faction within my species. They've taken control of our government." Sam and Alex exchanged worried glances. "What does that mean?" Sam asked cautiously. Zara turned to face them, her alien features set in a grim mask. "It means Earth is in danger. The Vexo see developing worlds like yours as threats to be eliminated, not nurtured. They've been pushing for a more aggressive approach for centuries, and now—" She trailed off, the implications hanging heavy in the air. "Now they're in charge," Alex finished, his jaw set. "And let me guess, Earth is on their hit list." Zara nodded sullenly. "Not just Earth, dozens of developing worlds across the galaxy. But yes, given my mission here and the crash, Earth has become a priority target." The gravity of the situation settled over the room like a heavy blanket. The immediate threat of government agents outside suddenly seemed insignificant compared to the cosmic danger looming over the entire planet. "Okay," Alex said, taking a deep breath. "So what do we do? How do we stop them?" Zara's expression softened as she looked at Alex, a mix of admiration and sorrow in her eyes. "This isn't your fight, Alex. My people's technology is centuries beyond yours. A direct confrontation would be hopeless." But Alex's eyes blazed with determination. Like hell, it's not our fight. This is our world, Zara. We may be outgunned, but if there's one thing you should have learned by now, it's that humans don't give up easily. Sam nodded in agreement, her scientific curiosity overshadowed by a fierce protectiveness for her home. He's right. We've faced impossible odds before. If there's a way to stop this invasion, we'll find it. Zara looked between the two humans, seeing the unwavering resolve in their eyes. She felt a swell of emotion, pride, affection, and a renewed sense of hope. Very well, she said, squaring her shoulders. Then we have work to do. Over the next few hours, as government vehicles surrounded the research station and agents attempted to negotiate their surrender, the unlikely trio inside worked feverishly to formulate a plan. Zara shared everything she knew about Vexor tactics and technology, while Sam and Alex brainstormed ways to use Earth's resources in unconventional ways. Wait a second, Sam said suddenly, her eyes lighting up with inspiration. Zara, you mentioned that your ships use a form of quantum entanglement for faster-than-light communication, right? Zara nodded. Yes, it's how we maintain real-time contact across vast distances. Sam grinned, the look of a scientist on the verge of a breakthrough. Well, what if we could disrupt that entanglement, create a sort of quantum static that would interfere with their communications and navigation? Zara's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. That could work. But you'd need a tremendous amount of energy and a way to broadcast the disruption across a wide area. The satellite network, Alex chimed in, catching on to the idea. If we could repurpose it to emit this quantum static, we could create a planetary defense system. As they delved deeper into the plan, refining the details and accounting for potential obstacles, a sense of cautious optimism began to grow. It was a long shot, relying on a blend of advanced alien knowledge and human ingenuity, but it was a shot worth taking. Their planning session was interrupted by a loud bang on the main doors of the research station. "This is Agent Coulson of the NSA," a stern voice called out. "We know you're in there. Come out peacefully and we can discuss this like reasonable people." Alex, Sam, and Zara exchanged glances. They had a plan to save the world, but first, they needed to convince their own government to listen. "I have an idea," Zara said, a mischievous glint in her eye. "But you'll have to trust me." Minutes later, the doors of the research station slowly opened. Agent Coulson and his team raised their weapons, ready for anything, or so they thought. Nothing could have prepared them for the sight of an alien stepping out into the sunlight, flanked by two humans. "Greetings," Zara said, her voice amplified by her suit's systems. "I am Zara, emissary of the Araxian people, and I come with a warning. Earth stands on the brink of an interstellar war." The agents stood frozen, their training inadequate for this unprecedented situation. Agent Coulson, to his credit, recovered quickly. "We'll need you to come with us. All of you." Alex stepped forward, his voice firm. "With all due respect, sir, we don't have time for bureaucracy. The fate of our world is at stake. You need to listen to what we have to say." As the standoff continued, a low hum filled the air. The agents looked up in awe as the satellite dishes of the research station began to move, aligning themselves in a complex pattern. A beam of energy shot into the sky, painting the clouds with an aurora-like display of quantum disruption. "That," Sam said proudly, "is humanity's first line of defense against an alien invasion. And if you want to keep it running, you're going to need our help." Agent Coulson looked from the sky to the determined faces before him, then back to the sky. Slowly, he lowered his weapon. "I think," he said carefully, "that we had better talk." As they were escorted into a secure government facility, Alex couldn't help but smile. They had taken the first step, but the real challenge was just beginning. Earth was about to enter the galactic stage, ready or not. And he, along with Sam and Zara, would be at the forefront of humanity's greatest adventure. The fate of two worlds now rested in their hands. It was a daunting responsibility, but as Alex looked at his companions, one human, one alien, Both now dear friends, he felt a surge of confidence. Together, they just might pull off the impossible. After all, that's what humans do best. Humanity's stand. The Pentagon's war room buzzed with an energy unlike anything in its storied history. Military leaders, scientists, and government officials huddled around holographic displays, their faces illuminated by the eerie glow of alien star charts. At the center of it all stood an unlikely trio: Alex, the ex-Air Force pilot; Dr. Samantha Torres, the brilliant physicist; and Zara, the Araxian scientist turned Earth's greatest ally. "Ladies and gentlemen," General Hammond's voice boomed across the room, silencing the chatter. "What you're about to hear will reshape our understanding of our place in the universe. But more importantly, it will determine the fate of our entire species." As Zara stepped forward to address the assembly, Alex couldn't help but marvel at how far they'd come. Just weeks ago, he was a washed-up pilot living in obscurity. Now he stood at the precipice of history, part of humanity's last line of defense against an alien threat. Zara's melodic voice filled the room as she outlined the Vexa's invasion plans. The holographic display shifted, showing a terrifying armada of advanced warships approaching Earth's solar system. "The Vexa fleet will arrive in approximately 72 hours, Zara concluded, her large eyes scanning the room. "Their technology far surpasses anything Earth currently possesses. In a conventional war, victory would be improbable." A heavy silence fell over the room, the weight of impending doom palpable. But Alex had seen that look before, in the eyes of firefighters facing an impossible blaze, in the determination of communities rebuilding after disasters. It was the look of humans faced with insurmountable odds, ready to defy them anyway. Admiral Chen, a decorated veteran, broke the silence. "So, what's our play? You mentioned a defense system." Sam stepped forward, her eyes bright with the fire of scientific breakthrough. "Yes, sir. We've developed a quantum disruption field that can interfere with the Vexa's faster-than-light communications and navigation." She brought up a new hologram, showing a web of energy emanating from Earth's satellite network. "By repurposing our global satellite system, we can create a planetary shield that will effectively blind and deafen the Vexa fleet." But, Alex chimed in, "It's not just about defense. While the Vexa are disoriented, we'll need to take the fight to them." The next few hours were a whirlwind of strategy sessions as the unlikely alliance of humans and their lone alien ally formulated a plan that could only be described as audacious. It would require every ounce of human ingenuity, courage, and that uniquely human ability to perform under impossible pressure. As the meeting adjourned, world leaders were briefed and a global call to arms went out. The message was clear. Earth faced an existential threat, and every human on the planet had a role to play in its defense. In the days that followed, the world transformed. Ancient rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources. Factories were retooled to produce components for the quantum disruption field. Hackers and tech geniuses worldwide collaborated to upgrade Earth's cyber defenses. Even civilian volunteers played crucial roles, from manning early warning systems to assisting in the largest evacuation efforts in human history. Alex found himself at the heart of it all, coordinating between military strategists and the teams of scientists working to integrate Zara's advanced knowledge with human technology. The plan was insane, a Hail Mary pass on a cosmic scale. But as he watched humans from all walks of life come together with a common purpose, he felt a swell of pride in his species. On the eve of the invasion, Alex stood with Sam and Zara on the roof of the Pentagon, watching the sunset paint the sky in brilliant hues of orange and purple. It might be the last peaceful moment they'd have for a long time. "You know," Sam said softly, "I always dreamed of making first contact. I just never imagined it would be like this." Zara nodded, her alien features softened by the fading light. "I came to study humanity, to determine if you were ready to join the galactic community. I never expected to find myself fighting alongside you to save your world, and mine." Alex put an arm around each of them, this improbable team that had become like family. Whatever happens tomorrow, I'm glad I'm facing it with you too. As night fell, the stars seemed to shine brighter than ever before. Somewhere up there, the Vexor fleet approached, intent on wiping humanity from the cosmos. But down here, Earth was ready. Not just to survive, but to show the universe what humans were truly capable of when united against impossible odds. The next morning, as the first Vexor ships entered the solar system, humanity held its breath. The quantum disruption field crackled to life, enveloping the Earth in a shimmering web of energy. And as alarms blared and the world braced for impact, Alex, Sam, and Zara headed for the specially modified fighter jet that would take them into the heart of the battle. This was it, humanity's stand, a moment that would echo through history, no matter the outcome. As they strapped in, Alex couldn't help but smile. They were outgunned, facing an enemy of unimaginable power. But they were human, and if there's one thing humans do best, it's beating the odds. "Ready?" he asked his companions. Sam and Zara nodded, determination etched on their faces. "Then let's go make history." The engines roared to life, and the jet screamed into the sky, leading us defenders towards their date with destiny. The greatest battle in human history was about to begin, and its outcome would determine the fate of not just one world, but the entire galaxy.